Hello, welcome to Baby and Mommy Yoga class. This flow is meant for babies 0 to 3 months old. However, baby Rosalie here is joining us, and she is 4 months old. My name is Kaylee, I'm the instructor. Please make sure you speak with your doctor before starting any physical activity after pregnancy. So we'll begin first with setting up. I recommend having 2 blocks handy. It's just kind of nice to bring the floor closer to you. You might notice that it's a little more difficult to reach the floor in certain positions with the belly being stretched out and a little larger. Next thing you might want is a blanket at the top of the mat for baby. They like the texture of the mat, so it's okay if you put them there, but my baby tends to spit up a little bit and I don't want it to soak into my mat. Also, I find it's just a little bit cleaner and softer for her to roll around on. Last 2 things you may want, of course, is burp cloth if they spit up. Then you have that ready to go. And then 1 toy or 2 toys for them to play with in case they get a little bored throughout the practice. So when we practice this flow, you might notice that baby will get a little bit cranky at some point. You might not be able to get through the entire flow, and some days you might be able to get right through it. But make sure you take care of baby first and pause when you need to. I will do the same. This is a video that's been recorded, so there will be times where I end up pausing, but you won't see that pause. For you, it'll be a continuous flow. So we'll begin. Baby will start with you. You're going to sit down onto your bum and bring the soles of the feet together, but rather than bringing the heels close to the groin, make a really wide diamond shape. This should be wide enough to place your baby's head on the feet and lay her down on her back. Legs will probably be bent with the feet towards you. I'm going to take my baby's socks off because I like to give Rosalie a little massage. It's said that massage is great for not only connecting with your baby, but it's also great because it helps them relax a little bit and pay attention to the present moment, which of course what yoga is all about, is tuning into the present moment. So if you're rubbing their feet, I like to rub from the heel into a straight line up towards the ball of the foot and the toes. She likes that one. But you can just squeeze the feet, especially if you're not really confident in the amount of pressure you want to put on your baby's feet or limbs. You can take it easy, but over time you'll get a little more confident and you'll notice that they're okay with a little extra pressure. And once the feet have been rubbed a little bit, you might even go up towards the legs. When you're rubbing up near the upper thighs, you want to rub in like an outward and then down motion. So you're spreading your fingers and rubbing out, then down. This will get them a little bit more ready and a little more excited about what's to come. Hi. Once you feel like they're relaxed enough, you can continue the massage if you wish, or just quit the massage. Close the eyes and lengthen the spine long. Now it's time to focus on mom. Finally, right? Go through so much, especially if you're a new mom. I'm a new mom. This is my first and only baby. And it can be challenging sometimes to focus on yourself because you're so worried about baby and you want to be so attentive to your baby. With the eyes closed, start to slow down the breath. Inhale slowly through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Breathe normally in and out through the nose. Softly open the eyes. You can stay seated if this is enough for you, or you feel like your baby's getting too big to fold forward. Mine's getting a little bit big to fold forward. I'm going to place her feet on the ground and then fold forward to look at her little cute face. Then baby might actually start to bring the feet up to the belly, and you can let that happen. It's great for them to start pushing into something with their feet because that'll prepare them for crawling later on. And maybe even rolling around. As you fold forward in this position, try to keep the spine lengthened still with rolling the shoulders down the back. You'll end up creating length automatically in the neck by looking down at your baby. Now come back up if you folded forward, and we're going to move baby onto the blanket. Bring them down onto the blanket, onto their back. And now you can come to hands and knees to a tabletop position. Place the hands around baby with the palms flat on the ground, fingers rooting down to the earth, and the gaze to the baby should be directly under your eyes. You don't want to look too far forward or too far down to see baby. You want her to be directly underneath your face. The knees will be directly underneath the hips. Tuck the toes. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze up. Exhale as you round the spine, gaze at baby, give him a little smile, release head and neck. Inhale, gaze forward, looking at baby, then up. Exhale, round, looking at baby, then releasing head and neck. Keep moving fluidly at your own rate. Use the hands to help pull the heart forward and push the ground away energetically as you round the spine. 2 more breaths. After your second exhalation, you can bring the spine back to a neutral position. I'm going to now give Rosalie a little toy because I can tell she's getting a little bit bored. Keep your hands down onto the ground. Tuck the toes to lift the knees off the ground. Come into a plank position. Try not to have the hips up too high. Keep the hips low enough to find a flat board-like position and gaze down at baby, giving him a little smile. Keep the breath steady as you possibly can. 1 more breath. Lower the knees back down. This is where I'm going to grab my blocks. If you wish to do the same, you can grab them. I'm going to place them on the highest level, framing baby. Now step right foot forward to the outside of baby, right next to his or her outer hip. Now we're going to bend into the front leg a little. You might have to scoot your foot up a little bit so you're not hyperextending the knee, meaning having the knee past the ankle. If you want more of a stretch in this back hip, you can tuck the back toes and kind of inch your knee back a little bit to bend a little further. But be mindful because the pelvic floor is still shifting, so you want to start slow. Ease into this. This is where my fingertips don't necessarily reach the floor very easily anymore because my belly is getting in the way. That will go away over time, so try not to focus too much on that. Now we're going to send the front knee back, so you can shift the hips back as you bring front knee back. Left foot steps forward next to baby. Bend into the leg to find your own degree of stretch in the front of the right hip. Two more breaths. Now send front knee back, shifting the hips back. We're going to find our way into a child's pose. You may have to inch your knees a little bit closer towards baby's feet. Then bring the knees out wide. You can set the blocks off to the sides. Walk the hands forward, fold forward, chest coming down, heart coming down. And you can even look at baby. Rosalie likes to touch my face right now, but try and interact with baby a little bit. Letting the hips and sit bones sink towards the heels to get that little back stretch, hip stretch, maybe even in the shoulders too. One more breath. Come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes and walk the feet forward to frame baby. Keep the toes pointing forward, so we're not pigeon toeing, keeping the toes out or in. Keep the toes pointing forward. Bend the legs and slowly rise back up to stand. Bring the arms along the sides with the palms facing forward. I know my head's out of the view now. But keep the heart lifting forward. Shoulders rolling down. This is Tadasana Mountain Pose. Gently squeeze the glutes to send the tailbone downward. Now reach the arms forward and then up to the ceiling. I'm going to step back so you can see. But you will be framing baby through this practice. Bring the arms back down. Inhale, arms out in front of the face. Keep the shoulders where they are, down the back. Exhale, arms reach directly up. Spread the fingers. Let the hands be included in your yoga practice, but keep the shoulders where they are. Next exhale, lower the arms. We're going to do that with breath now. Inhale, forward, then up. Exhale, down. Inhale, forward, up. Exhale down. This is a great practice if you find yourself rounding forward, especially if you breastfeed. Even holding baby and looking at her tends to make you round the spine forward and hang the head and neck. Keep the gaze lifted. Next time the arms come along the sides, stay there. Pause in your Tadasana Mountain Pose. Bring the focus back to the breath. Now we're going to fold forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, arms are going to reach forward and up again. This time as you exhale, arms come out towards the sides like a swan dive, heart leading forward, head and neck release last. You can hang the head and bend one leg then the other with arms dangling down. Maybe even rubbing baby in the arms if you decide to give them a massage. Again, you want to make sure you turn outward from the joint. I even like to hold the hands and do a little hand massage, especially the thumb, because when babies are young, they still like to bring their thumbs close to the palm into like a fist shape. One more breath here. Bring the fingertips to the floor or your blocks if you need them. Lengthen the spine, bringing the heart forward, head forward, shoulders down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, reaching the spine like you're stretching in opposite directions. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands, and the hands will be about torso placed around baby. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Now you probably won't see baby, but if you want to look forward, this will help prevent that tension that might be accumulating in the back of the neck. This will help you even maybe release the collarbone a little bit. You might get a pop there. It'll stretch out the chest and heart by gazing forward. And if your hands are on the blanket and they're slipping, you can even slide your hands underneath the blanket to prevent that slippage. One more breath. Good. Bend the legs, slowly walk forward, meeting the hands. Good. Now we're going to come into a lunge-like position. Step left foot back, keep toes tucked, heel lifted, bend into the front leg, and now reach the arms forward and up for high lunge. If this is too much too soon, lower back knee down and do a low lunge. Keep the shoulders rolling down the back. Keep the chin away from the chest. Spread the fingers. Try not to look at baby unless you hear something and you need to be paying attention. Otherwise, try and keep the gaze forward. Now bring the hands back down. Step right foot back, left foot forward. Reach the arms up. Lunge. So this is a good way, too, to train yourself to really pay attention to baby's sounds rather than looking at them all the time. I mean, it's good to look at your baby, obviously, but they make certain sounds that mean certain things. And as a mom, you start to learn what those sounds mean, like those certain cries, whether it mean food, pee-pee diaper, poopy diaper, or maybe even just simply attention and wanting to play. Frame the front foot, step back, this time come right into downward dog, sliding hands under blanket if needed. Hips go up and back. If it's okay on the neck, try to gaze forward towards baby. Lower the knees, widen the knees out to the outer edges of the mat. Big toes come towards touching. Send sit bones back. Reach arms forward, child's pose, baby, child's pose. Resting with baby. If she's getting a little antsy, you can even come down to the elbows if you want to. Rub the hands, rub the arms, interact with baby, letting them know they're part of the practice too. It's likely that your baby might not be able to roll over yet, or even start to move around much. So there's really not much to do with baby for the 0 to 3 months. It's more just kind of hanging out with baby while you stretch and slowly come back to what you were or who you were before pregnancy came about. We're going to come back up to tabletop. And now cross the legs behind you and sit down onto your bum. Scoot forward towards baby. We're going to include one last baby movement. This one is really great if your baby is gassy. Maybe he or she can't let out very many burps or farts right now because they're so young, and they tend to get colicky when they're gassy and really cranky. So this is helpful for that, as well as helping lubricate their hip joints to help prevent hip dysplasia. Grab a hold of their feet, their ankles preferably, or maybe even their calves. Now we're going to just simply bend the legs in towards the chest and extend them out long. Very simple. Move with your breath. If you can hear baby's breath, it's preferred to move with their breath, but sometimes that can be difficult. So if you just find a nice steady rhythm, that'll work. So actually, we tend to do this pose in yoga class where we hold it. This is called wind release pose. And just as it sounds, it lets out your gas or your farts. So you might hear baby fart or burp a couple times here. They're even doing yoga now. One more round. Then you can let go of their legs. Close the eyes once more. Lengthen the spine, shoulders down. If you wish to keep contact with your baby, you can grab a hold of their feet and legs and give them a little squeeze or massage. Try to keep your breath steady even if baby is making noise. Keep the mind calm even if baby is making noise. Inhale 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale 3, 2, 1, pause. Inhale 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale 3, 2, 1, Pause. Keep going. After your next exhalation, breathe normally. Now give yourself a compliment, something you've been doing really well as a mom. We tend to be very judgmental to ourselves, about ourselves. What is something or multiple things that you have done well? Being attentive to baby, loving baby. Remember to fill your cup first. That way you can give to others all the energy needed, all the love possible. It's difficult to do when you're pouring from an empty glass. The light within me sees and bows to the light within you. Namaste.